Picture this. You're up at 3 a.m., your mind buzzing with 1,000 things you should have done, could have done, but just didn't have the energy to do. Let me share with you a chapter from my own life. A time when my days were packed to the brim with tasks and to-dos. I was juggling a demanding job, a side hustle, and trying to maintain a semblance of a social life. I remember waking up each morning feeling as though I'd already run a marathon, my body heavy and my mind foggy. Every task seemed like a mountain to climb. I'd stare at my computer screen, my fingers hovering over the keyboard, but I just couldn't muster the energy to start. I'd look at the clock and wonder where the hours had gone, my to-do list only growing longer. And then came the guilt. The nagging thought that I was just being lazy, that I simply wasn't trying hard enough. But deep down, I knew that wasn't the case. I've always been a go-getter, a doer. I wasn't shying away from the work because I didn't want to do it, but because I didn't have the energy to do it. I was stuck in a cycle of exhaustion, overwhelm, and guilt. It felt like I was rowing against a fierce current, my arms aching, my breath ragged, and the shore. It just seemed to drift further away. It was a dark time indeed, but it was also a time of revelation. I wasn't lazy, I was burnt out, and recognizing that was the first step towards change. What I want you to understand is that this isn't a tale of woe, but a tale of awakening. It's a story about acknowledging our limits, about understanding that we are not invincible, and that it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's about realizing that burnout is not a sign of weakness, but a signal from our mind and body asking us to slow down, to reassess, to take care of ourselves. And there I was, not lazy, but burnt out. Burnout isn't simply about being tired. It's a state of chronic physical and mental exhaustion that can have serious consequences. When we think of burnout, we often think of someone who's overworked, stressed to the max, and running on empty. But burnout is more complex than that. It's not just about working long hours or juggling too many tasks. It's about how you handle the stress that comes with being overworked and the feelings of being overwhelmed. There are some common misconceptions about burnout that we need to tackle. First, burnout isn't just a fancy term for being tired. It's a serious condition that can affect your health, your relationships, and your overall quality of life. Secondly, burnout isn't a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean you're not cut out for your job or that you're not capable. It's a sign that something in your life is out of balance, and it needs to be addressed. Now let's talk about the signs of burnout. It's not always easy to recognize, especially in ourselves, because it can creep up slowly. One of the first signs is a lack of motivation. You may find that you're no longer excited about your work or the things that used to bring you joy. You might feel detached or indifferent, like you're just going through the motions. Another common sign of burnout is a feeling of emptiness. You might feel like you're running on empty with nothing left to give. You might feel overwhelmed, like you're drowning in tasks and responsibilities, but no matter how hard you work, it never seems to be enough. And finally, burnout can lead to a decreased sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. You might feel like you're not making a difference, like your work doesn't matter, or that you're not achieving your goals. This can lead to feelings of worthlessness and a loss of self-esteem. Burnout is more than being tired. It's a condition that demands attention. And remember, recognizing the signs of burnout is the first step towards overcoming it. Believe it or not, my story isn't unique. There are countless others who have experienced the same overwhelming burnout. Let's take a journey together through the lives of some individuals who have walked this path. Their stories are diverse, their backgrounds varied, but their experiences with burnout are strikingly similar. First, we meet Rachel, a top-tier executive in a leading multinational corporation. Her life was a whirlwind of meetings, presentations, and deadlines. She was the embodiment of success, but behind her poised exterior, she was crumbling. Burnout had set in, leaving her feeling exhausted, disillusioned, and constantly on edge. She felt like a hamster on a wheel, running tirelessly, but getting nowhere. Then there's Jack, a dedicated teacher in a bustling city school. His passion was nurturing young minds, but over time, the long hours, the endless paperwork, and the emotional toll of dealing with challenging situations left him feeling drained and unappreciated. His once vibrant classroom felt like a prison, and he was trapped, battling burnout. Let's not forget Sarah, a busy mother of 3 young children. She was juggling household chores, school runs, and endless to-do lists. The constant demands and lack of time to herself took their toll. She was constantly fatigued, irritable, and felt a growing sense of detachment from her family. She was burnt out, not lazy, just utterly worn out. And finally, consider Sam, a budding entrepreneur. His startup was his dream, his brainchild. The endless hours, the sleepless nights, the pressure to succeed, it all began to weigh heavily on him. His passion became his prison. He was not lazy, he was burnt out. Each of these individuals from different walks of life experienced the debilitating effects of burnout. They were not lazy, they were not weak, they were simply human. They were battling a condition that is all too common in our fast-paced, high-pressure society. But remember, burnout is not a life sentence. Rachel found solace in therapy and mindfulness practices. Jack took a sabbatical, found creative outlets, and rediscovered his love for teaching. Sarah reached out for help, created a support network, and learned to take time for herself. Sam restructured his work-life balance, delegated tasks, and learned to prioritize his well-being. Their stories are a testament to the fact that burnout is not an individual failing, but a societal issue that needs to be addressed. It can affect anyone, regardless of their profession, age, or personal circumstances. It's a stark reminder that we need to take care of our mental health, to recognize the signs of burnout, and to seek help when needed. As you can see, burnout is an equal opportunity affliction. So how do you know if you're burnt out or just feeling a little lazy? Let's dive into the differences between burnout and laziness, and why it's crucial to distinguish between the two. Firstly, laziness. We all have those days where we just can't muster the energy to do much of anything. We might procrastinate, put off tasks, or simply want to stay in bed all day. That's perfectly normal. Laziness is often a temporary state, a lack of motivation that can be overcome with a little push. Perhaps you need a change of scenery, a break from routine, or a pep talk from a friend. Once that motivation returns, you're back on track, ready and willing to tackle your to-do list. Burnout, on the other hand, is a beast of a different nature. It's not about not wanting to do things, it's about not being able to. Burnout is a state of chronic physical and emotional exhaustion. It's feeling depleted, overwhelmed, and unable to meet constant demands. It's a sense of dread when you think about the tasks you need to complete, coupled with a feeling that no matter how hard you work, you're not getting anywhere. Unlike laziness, burnout isn't something you can simply shake off with a brisk walk or a pep talk. It's a deeper issue that often requires a more comprehensive solution. It might mean taking a significant break, seeking therapy, or making substantial changes in your life, such as switching jobs or cutting back on commitments. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds severe. How do I know if I'm burnt out? Well, there are several signs to look out for. These might include feeling tired all the time, even after a good night's sleep. You might feel a sense of dread or anxiety about work or other responsibilities. You might find it hard to concentrate or be productive. You might start to feel detached or cynical about your job or life in general. You might even experience physical symptoms like headaches, stomach aches, or changes in appetite or sleep patterns. Of course, it's important to note that if you're experiencing these symptoms, it's crucial to seek professional help. Mental health is as important as physical health, and burnout is a serious issue that can have long-term effects if not addressed. So, to sum up, while both laziness and burnout can lead to a lack of productivity, they stem from different places and require different solutions. Laziness is often a temporary state that can be overcome with a little motivation. Burnout, on the other hand, is a more serious chronic condition that requires a more comprehensive approach to resolve. Remember, recognizing the problem is the first step to finding a solution. Now that we understand what burnout is and how it differs from laziness, the question is, how do we overcome it? Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and often physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. It's not a fleeting feeling of fatigue or a temporary response to a demanding day at work. Instead, it's a chronic state that can rob you of your vitality, enthusiasm, and ultimately your health. But it's not a life sentence. Overcoming burnout involves a multifaceted approach, and the first step is setting realistic goals. This might sound simple, but it's often overlooked. We live in a world that glorifies doing it all, but this is neither sustainable nor healthy. So start by acknowledging your limits. Understand that it's okay not to be on top of everything all the time. Set achievable goals for yourself and celebrate when you accomplish them. Remember, small victories often lead to big wins. Next, Prioritize self-care. This goes beyond the occasional spa day or indulging in your favorite treat. It's about consistently taking time to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. This could be as simple as ensuring you get enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, or taking a walk in the park. It might also involve activities that replenish your mental and emotional energy, like meditation, reading a book, or spending time with loved ones. The key here is consistency. Make self-care a non-negotiable part of your routine. And finally, don't be afraid to reach out for professional help. Sometimes the weight of burnout can be too heavy to carry alone, and there's absolutely no shame in seeking support. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate these difficult feelings and can provide strategies to manage stress better. Remember, reaching out for support is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength and resilience. In some cases, making changes to your work environment or lifestyle can also be beneficial. This might involve setting boundaries with your work hours, delegating tasks, or even seeking a new job if your current one is the main source of your stress. Remember, overcoming burnout is not about making drastic changes overnight. It's a journey of small, consistent steps towards a healthier, more balanced life. It's about listening to your needs and honoring them. It's about understanding that you are more than your productivity and that it's okay to rest. So take a deep breath, start where you are, and take one step at a time. You have the power to break free from the chains of burnout and reclaim your joy, energy, and passion. Overcoming burnout might not be easy, but with the right strategies, it's definitely possible. Our stories have the power to inspire, to comfort, and to heal. In a world that's constantly moving at breakneck speed, it's easy to feel isolated, especially when we're struggling. But the truth is, we're not alone. Everyone has their own battles, their own stories. And it is within these stories that we often find solace, connection, and hope. Burnout is a shared experience. It's something that many of us have faced or are currently battling. It's that overwhelming feeling of exhaustion, the loss of passion, the constant struggle just to keep going. It's real and it's tough, but it's also something we can overcome. Sharing our experiences can be a powerful tool in this fight against burnout. It's not just about finding comfort in knowing that others have been where we are. It's about sparking a dialogue, about starting a conversation that can lead to understanding, empathy, and ultimately healing. It's about helping each other navigate the murky waters of burnout, offering a lifeline when it feels like we're drowning. So let's start that conversation. Let's make this space a sanctuary, a place where we can share our stories, our struggles, our victories. Let's use our words to inspire, to comfort, to heal. Let's create a community where no one feels alone in their fight against burnout. Maybe you've battled burnout and emerged victorious. Maybe you're in the thick of it right now. Maybe you've discovered a strategy that helps you keep burnout at bay. Whatever your story, it matters. It can make a difference. It can provide hope. So don't hesitate. Share your story. It doesn't have to be long or eloquent. It just has to be honest. And it has to be yours. Because it's in our shared experiences, our shared stories, that we find strength, solidarity, and the courage to keep going. Your story matters. Share it in the comments, and let's create a community where we can all support each other in overcoming burnout.